Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. And for this very particular episode, I have my wonderful guest, Michael from Star Wars Podcast.
Let's go. I am ready to go. Lights, Camera, Rant. This is so exciting. Thank you for having me.
By the way, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock for you at the moment?
Yeah, 5 p.m. for me.
Yeah. 8:30 in the morning for me.
There you go. Perfect. No, thank you so much for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun.
No, you're most welcome. As we were slightly chatting beforehand, I've just started listening to you guys. You guys have been great to listen to. You guys are so in depth with your reviews and all your visuals, like your logo, your merch. It's all fantastic and done really well. So I give you all the props. I was kind of jealous of the fact that someone had won the T-shirt already. Your free giveaway.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's always next time. We'll get back to it.
Yeah. I'll just make sure to spam. Just spam all across.
Exactly. Create multiple accounts, all that.
Yeah, all the dummy fake bot accounts.
Yeah.
that help the Snyder Cut get released.
Exactly.
So for everyone who doesn't know you, Michael, so tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me about your podcast.
Okay, so my name is Michael Herrera. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, here in the U.S. I'm a dad. I have 3 kids, and I like podcasting. That's like my big hobby as of late. I host the Star Wars podcast. We talk about Marvel and Star Wars, and sometimes we dabble in some other stuff like Rings of Power, but mostly Marvel and Star Wars. And basically, after every episode of She-Hulk, Kenobi, stuff like that, we will do a podcast to cover that episode, and we do it weekly. So that's kind of our deal.
So for anyone who's listening, you need to jump onto them right now. Their episodes are quicker than mine. But real quick, are you enjoying Rings of Power?
I love it. I am You said that and the hairs on my arms stood up. I love that show. It's my favorite show that I'm currently watching. And that says a lot because I really like Primal. I like House of the Dragon. I like She-Hulk. But Rings of Power is just very special. I feel like a kid again being thrown back into the Tolkien world. And I feel like they're doing it so well. It's so beautiful. It's the most expensive TV show of all time, and it shows clearly.
Yeah.
So I love it. I think it's really great.
Oh, that's good to hear. Well, I heard yesterday that apparently majority of all that money would just be licensing just to use.
That makes sense.
That's the majority of the money. And if you're watching House of the Dragon right now, which one as a critic would you say is the better show?
Honestly, I'm going to go with Rings of Power. I feel like I'm a little biased because obviously I've watched Game of Thrones and all that. And I feel like House of the Dragon feels like more of the same, while Rings of Power feels like kind of more of a refreshing show. I think the big thing is, I think Rings of Power is better with the world building. I think they have better characters. I think they have better moments and sequences and action set pieces. I think, all in all, as much as I love House of the Dragon, I don't think it's close. I think Rings of Power is much better.
Rings of Power is going to be the big winner at the end.
Yeah, I think, and that's the thing. I think there's some diehard Game of Thrones fans, and they might come after me for saying that. And listen, actually, I think I'm a bigger Game of Thrones fan than most. A lot of people turned on the show at the end. I even liked the final season. There was never a point where I hated Game of Thrones. I know, that's I say that, I get crucified every single time. But
you're the only person I know that's fully said that willingly.
here's what I'll say about the end of Game of Thrones, and I think a lot of people don't like it because it's different than the rest of the season or series, for that matter.
Yeah.
Because Game of Thrones has always been a very slow-paced show. They take a lot of time to get to things, which is different than a lot of TV shows. Like, their pace is different. It's a different, like, when you watch it, you have to, like, adjust and figure out how they do things. While the final season is more like your average TV show. It goes quick. It's fast. They resolve conflict quickly, which can be a complaint. But for me, I was like, it was fast-paced, it was fun, it was exciting, and it was unexpected. And that's what I look for in a TV show, so... Come at me, haters. I don't care what you say.
Well, I don't think you'll get a lot of haters on my podcast because, unfortunately, I'm a little bit slow to play. I haven't watched Game of Thrones yet.
Okay.
It is on my list. I have one of my friends who comes on a podcast regularly. He's constantly telling me, he's like, how do you have a film podcast and you haven't watched Game of Thrones? I'm like, oh, I'll get around to it. And he's like, well, now you screwed yourself because now you have to watch House of Dragon. So you got to back up that too.
Well, I just want to tell you this, and I tell a lot of people this because I feel like a lot of people come in and they're like, well, is it worth it? Because like everyone hates the ending. Make your own opinion, because I'm telling you right now, I enjoyed it a lot. It's a lot of fun. So I want you to go when you get to it. I won't rush you like your buddy. When you get to it, just go in with an open mind and like filter. Like it's not bad. Like it is not bad. So have fun with it.
No, I'll go in open-minded. But do you think? Because I have seen a lot of people say this, is that they believe that it should have gone for at least one more season to wrap everything up, or because you like the ending so much, you're like, nah, that's done. They didn't need to spread anymore.
So I think they did exactly what they needed to do to finish out the series, right? They hit all the points. Like there was no thread that was left hanging that made me feel unsatisfied. With that being said, of course, I feel like another season would have helped. I think that's the big complaint that I will agree with, is it is rushed. Like there's a lot of plot in those final seasons that they have to close out, but they close it. They crammed it in, and like I said, it's very fast paced, and like it seems like every episode they're closing out like 4 or 5 different storylines. But from my perspective, it's like, well, cool. There's never like a dull moment, you know. So I don't know. It goes both ways. They could have done another season and like given it more time, or they could have given us like one baller final season where like there's always something happening.
That's very true, and we do not have enough time in the day to list how many shows you could argue going, it should have ended in a season earlier. The last season's terrible. Scrubs should have just ended.
Lost.
Yeah, you lost. I feel like there should have been lots there, but like the list goes on. But look, everyone, that's slight Lord of the Rings and Ring of Power tangent. So for this particular episode, we're going to be reviewing the latest episode of She-Hulk, and then we're going to dive into the biggest news that's happened the past week. Kim Kardashian wants to join the MCU. No, that's...
I'm here for it. Bring it on. Come on, Kim.
I don't want to see what she'll do, but I just want to see what the internet will do. They'll go have a field day. They'll go crazy. And especially if she played a pivotal character.
Make her an Eternal. The next Eternals movie, she needs to be in that. Make her a god.
Done. That could go down so well. Or you can say, new Sue Storm is played by Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We're going to dive into the biggest news, which is the D23 about Star Wars and Marvel, which currently now we're only 3 or 4 hours removed off, so it's very fresh right now. But there was a lot of news, not as much as we both thought there would be, but we still got a good few nuggets that's going to tie us over until next year, or for the rest of the... Scary enough, the last 4 months we have of the year, because it's October very soon, which you guys are getting ready for Halloween.
Yep. So, it's. I feel like they gave us the right amount. I was expecting a little bit more, but like this was the baseline of like, you bring this, we'll be happy, and I was happy. So,
Yeah, same as I. I'm just glad we got some trailers. We got something substantial.
Right. Exactly.
But let's dive into She-Hulk, which you guys just dropped your She-Hulk review just yesterday.
Yes.
So
Yes, and I could talk about it more. I'm excited to talk about it more. I think it was a really fun episode.
yeah, so I fully agree. So far, I have not been disappointed with She-Hulk. As we know, the internet is very attackish on She-Hulk, which I do believe She-Hulk is playing on that very well. The fact that all these people are complaining like, well, she's calling you out there. They're calling you out on it on the episode. But this particular episode was called "Is This Not Real Magic?" which I only just realized that every title's now getting mentioned every single episode now. Just realized that. And we got Wong's new name, Wongers.
Wongers and Madison. What are you shipping them? Is that a good couple for you?
Well, you don't know where the Y is. You don't know where.
It's not where you think.
No, and when I saw it, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this particular episode starts off with a magician with Donnie Blaze, which everyone, including you guys, mentioned because I only got halfway through your episode yesterday. Was like as soon as I saw Donnie Blaze, I'm like, does he happen to have a cousin or a brother that happens to be a stunt performer with a sick bike that has major headaches and gets lit on fire a lot, out of curiosity?
Yeah, here's the thing. On my podcast, I was more like, yeah, maybe, maybe not. I'm going to say it now. Why would they bring that name in if it's not a connection, right? Like, they're not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. This means something. I don't know what it is. Maybe they changed the first name. Maybe this guy is Ghost Rider. Or maybe, like you said, he has a brother or cousin. I don't know what it is. But this is not an accident. Things don't happen on accident in the MCU.
No. As soon as I fully agree with you. As soon as I saw, I'm like, this is just a tease. Come on, He's gonna have to say something that relates to his. It's gonna go down the rabbit hole somewhere. You can't just have this character and then boom, we're never gonna see him again. Which I think we'll still see him later on in the show for another episode. But what this episode started with is that we see this magician. He's very subpar, bit average. He's in front of a crowd. They all think he sucks, and he's actually got. We find out he's got a sling ring, and he's opening portals to try and entertain all the audience because they're very drifting off. So he invites this lovely lady, which at first we would think was just a bimbo, but she became the highlight of the episode and one of the funniest characters. Madison, and he opens a portal, she falls through, and then she bumps into Wong, who is really into Sopranos and gets devastated. Gets absolutely devastated because this drunk Madison with the Y, you'll never know where the Y is, spoils Sopranos for him, and then short version, boom, that's how the episode kind of starts.
Yeah. Are you a Sopranos fan? Let's start here.
No. Well,
yeah,
I won't say I'm a fan. No, I haven't watched it. But I appreciate how good it is, of a show it is. But I haven't watched it. It's like, again, it's one of those shows to watch. A lot of people I speak to, same with Game of Thrones, when I tell them they haven't seen The Sopranos. What? Like, you got to watch it. Maybe I heard the movie wasn't too great. The prequel movie they released wasn't
okay. Well, here I go again, defending things that people don't like. I liked that movie too, so
wasn't too
come
bad?
at me, guys. I liked it. I thought it was exciting. I'm a big mafia mobster movie guy, so it played right into my interests. So yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah. So Godfather, you like the Godfather?
It's the best movie of all time.
Even the
Godfather 1 and 2. I've never seen the third one, actually. Because I love 1 and 2 so much, I hear that the third one's bad. I don't want it to ruin it for me. So I will stick with 1 and 2.
Yeah, just everyone just stick with 1 and 2, because I know the third one, I think, has the director's daughter in it. and her acting is utterly appalling, which is why she doesn't appear in, I think, anything after that. But yeah, Someone's new stick with 1, 2. We're at Scarface.
Okay, so that there here comes my wall of shame. I have not seen Scarface, not yet. So we'll get there.
Yeah, you'll really like it, which I heard that apparently that's getting a reboot, but that's a really good like mafia game. It's what Grand Theft Auto Vice City was based off.
Yeah.
Originally. But yeah, that's you like that. But yeah, the Mafia Sopranos, I just felt so bad for Wong because he's just like, oh, why did you tell me that?
Yeah. Come on, Madison.
Yeah. And then obviously we get the intro, and then what we also get is Jen breaking the fourth wall again. Which, well, how do you feel about the breaking the fourth wall? I heard I'm liking it. I do like how she mentioned the fact that, oh, you're all happy you see Wong, and I'm like, yeah, I'm happy seeing Wong in anything. I'm not sick of seeing Wong because I think he's one of the best characters. The Wong is Sorcerer Supreme now. I think he's one of the best characters in the MCU, so I haven't got sick of seeing him.
So I'm not like a massive Wong fan. I like Wong, I don't feel super invested in him. I will say it was a bold statement to say it gives the show Twitter armor. Like, I feel like that was bold. Be like Twitter hates you guys right now, and you're telling us that you think you're safe from Twitter. It was a bad look, in my opinion. I will say, as far as the fourth wall breaks, it's probably my least favorite part, but it doesn't necessarily take away, but it also doesn't add anything for me. Like, I feel like oftentimes, there have been a couple moments I felt like it's done well, but I feel like oftentimes she's just kind of describing the situation that she's in. And I'm like, we don't need that. Like, if you're going to break the fourth wall, I feel like you have to provide some context that's greater than what's actually going on. And a lot of times they don't provide that. Exactly. And I feel like a lot of times we're not getting that. Sometimes there have been a couple moments I've liked it, but for the most part, I could do without it.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, I think is it last week when she broke the fourth wall and she's like, "Oh, look, subplot 2 joins main plot." That's how the connectivity. I was like, "Yeah, that's okay."
You don't have to tell us how TV works. We get it.
No, no. But I think episode 2 where she's like, this isn't one of those guest episodes. We got Hulk. Oh, we got Wong. Oh, we got Blonsky. Oh, we're gonna have Daredevil. Anyway.
And that's the thing. It's like, at least because Daredevil does the thing, but like Daredevil is very funny. So like Daredevil doesn't necessarily provide more context on the story, but he is making us laugh. So as long as Jen Walters is making us laugh, and that's the one you described, I thought that was a good moment. Then I think it's worth something. Yeah,
and like I will say I'm enjoying this a whole lot more than Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel, it took me I think 3 episodes to at least be like, it's not a chore for me to watch this. I think third or fourth episode, that's when I was like, okay, this gets interesting now. But I feel like those first 2 episodes, I was like, I enjoyed Moon Knight more, and I had no idea what was going on.
So here's my hot take, and maybe I'm going off the beaten path too much, but I think Miss Marvel was better than Moon Knight, and I think She-Hulk is better than Miss Marvel. So, but here's the thing. I put Miss Marvel and Moon Knight in the same vein as where it's kind of a standalone introductory story that is very by the books, right? And I feel like She-Hulk is the opposite of all of those things in that it is not standalone because it's bringing a lot of different characters. It's kind of shepherding this character into the world. And it's also doing some very different things, which I appreciate. Like, it's not just your typical like origin story, which I really appreciate. So that's the big thing I appreciate about the show. They're really going for it.
No, I fully agree with you, which I give props to Marvel, is that when they stick away from that original origin plan, it's fantastic. You know, not everything needs to know, oh, you fell into a liquid acid and then you have to struggle to know your powers, or you have to have your loss, or your dad's passed away, or your mother's passed away, you know. It could just be as simple as you're in a car accident and your cousin's blood poured into you.
Yeah, they really got through it quick, which I was like, that's fine. I don't care. We don't need to spend all this time doing it. They had one good origin episode, and then the rest has been, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, well, I agree with you, because I like Spider-Man. Spider-Man, I feel, is a great template to show, because that, you know, when they brought Spider-Man to the MCU, it was like, you've seen his origin story, you've seen it twice. So Spider-Man No Way Home, Homecoming, you're straight into it. And even in Captain America Civil War, like, straight into it. You didn't need to know, you didn't need to see the spy Bim again, and, you know, that progressed his trilogy a lot quicker than both what Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, which he should get his own trilogy. But technically, if you kept Tobey Maguire's going, Tom Holland's trilogy is almost 4, 5, and 6 progressed along in that time, you know, if he kept going. But that's a slight Spider-Man tangent. But yeah, Marvel not doing origin stories or doing quick origin stories is really good.
Definitely agree. And like you said, Spider-Man is a great reference point. I think that is the best, pound for pound, the best trilogy in the MCU of, you know, if we compare it to Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. I think that one, you know, you might have your complaints here and there, but I think most people would probably rate that trilogy the higher of all of them. So yeah, no, I definitely agree.
I fully agree with you as well. I think Spider-Man trilogy, and then the next, if we're not counting Avengers, because that's completely separate. But next for me, I'd say Captain America would be next for me, only because more so 2 and 3, because I found that because Captain America's character was so gritty, Winter Soldier was fantastic, and then in Civil War, that end fight between Captain America and Iron Man. I'll never forget seeing in the theater, remember thinking, you know, are they actually going to pull, for me, I was like, are they actually going to pull the trigger from the comics? And is he going, you know, is Cap going to die? Or is it going to be Bucky? But
now that you talk about it, I'm like second guessing what I said, because I do love Captain America so much. So,
sorry.
No, you're good.
Well, at least we will get the end of Guardians of the Galaxy next year as well. Finally.
There you go. That has some stopping power against the other trilogies.
It does, and you know that James Gunn, the entire crew, I know this is separate to She-Hulk, but like, you know, they're going to pull off the stops, because after this, James Gunn is all of DC. DC have got him wrapped up for years to come, and this is. And I'm fine
with that. DC needs him. Please,
DC needs everything.
Please go help DC. I would love it for James Gunn to be full DC.
I fully agree. I think at least 4 or 5 episodes of my podcast, I think I've started off my episode going, well, DC is shit again, or this has happened with DC, or DC is cancelling its movies. And small point, they tried to hire a new guy to be the Kevin Feige, and the guy pulled out. So now they're still
Come on!
Yeah, this guy pulled out and said, "No, I don't want to do it." And he was going to oversee movies, TV shows, and said, "No, it's." I won't get in that tangent, but it's just a mess, and I feel sorry for every DC fan. So right now, James Gunn is the shining light.
Yes, our last hope. Come on,
our last hope. Yeah, not Superman. Who's Superman?
Yeah.
But. Back to She-Hulk.
We're gonna have so many tangents. I appreciate you bearing with me as I lead you into the darkness of random conversations.
Dude, honestly, I don't mind. That's exactly why my name is Ranting, because I go on so many tangents and I just rant on, and then I realize, I'm about 6 subjects removed from the original point that I was trying to make. But no, I'm happy to go on all those tangents. But yeah, So what we get to see is we get to see Jennifer talking, going back into work. Silly me, I only just realized at episode 4 why her clothes are so baggy in human form. I don't know why it took me so long, but I thought, wow, her wardrobe's awful. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Well, Nikki makes a comment, like, even when she's in the She-Hulk form, Nikki says that it still doesn't look great, and they're going to have to find new clothes. I think that's going to be a plot point eventually. She needs to, because you're right, she's still like, I mean, I'm not against, like, gender stereotypes and how people wear clothes, but it is like a very masculine uniform, and if she wants the more feminine look, she will have to change up the style. And again, that's if she wants that. No judging on my end, but they did drop that seed that, like, hey, we're gonna have to work on your wardrobe, and I think we're gonna get like a scene where she's like wearing dresses and whatnot. So,
well, you see it in the promo when she's walking down, she gets out of the limo. In the dress, I think what they're doing is just showing you like how much she's. I was gonna say this, much more attractive being She-Hulk, compared to her being Jen. Because you see in the promo art, she's at some kind of party and everyone's complimenting, saying how good she looks and everything. But then again, you're right; it could be a plot point where it leads to how she gets her comic book accurate outfit too. So
exactly,
that could work into it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that plays out.
Yeah. So, I'm glad we have 9 episodes for this.
Exactly.
We're getting the time with it, and I've completely forgot the fact that Hulk's got to come back at some point. Whatever he's doing,
it's going to be weird, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I've just got something to go do on a ship in space. I'll come back. Because bless Mark Ruffalo, he posted a photo with Titania in front of some blue screen house.
Okay.
And there's like a house, a cop car, blue screen, and he's like, "Oh, it was so great to meet her." I'm like, dude, that's, it's gonna be the final. How Kevin Feige hasn't sniped you or Tom Holland yet?
Yeah,
for not
shut
yeah.
Shut
Because
that
you know
down
what you remember what he did with Thor 3, don't you? At the premiere.
There's so much with Tom Holland. Like, there's a YouTube video of compilations of all the times he's spoiled something.
Yeah, I know. I mean Mark Ruffalo. Sorry, you see what Mark Ruffalo did the premiere of Thor 3?
Oh no! What he did?
He tried to do an Facebook Live before the premiere, but he didn't turn it off. So the first 40 minutes of Thor 3 was in his pocket. Facebook Live. And he was saying how someone kept pushing him in the theater, being like,
how did I miss this? This is so awesome. Yeah. Yes.
And he's like, what are you on about? Then he looked at his phone. He's like, oh, shit. And he was like, Kevin's going to kill me. I'm so dead. And apparently at the next premiere, Kevin came up to me and gave him a big hug, which apparently Mark Ruffalo was shitting himself. Why? And Kevin was like, well, because of that, it created so much a media storm on Twitter and everything. What you did, it got more publicity for the movie. But for 40 minutes, you could have listened to Thor 3.
What a boomer mistake there, right? Like, that's... how do you mess that up?
I know. And, then Tom Holland's always with Benedict Cumberbatch because they can't trust him. And even in Spider-Man 3, all the promotional material, even, I can't remember their names, both had to keep stopping him from spoiling about Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, because there was a scene where they were talking about in the trailer how MJ starts falling, and Tom Holland's like, "Oh yeah, I wasn't there on that day." What? What do you mean? Where were you?
Yeah, no, I really liked the No Way Home promotional lead up to that movie because a lot of it was based on. Yeah, a lot of it was based on like we know Tom Holland's gonna like they were playing into the fact that Tom Holland might spoil something. So yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, he's gonna ruin it somehow. And my favorite is Andrew Garfield got completely reamed by social media about him being in Spider-Man 3 because he had all these movies coming out, and there's Tobey Maguire going,
just
I got no movies coming out, got no chilling. I think the biggest thing he did was he winked at some kid about being in the movie, and that's it. But Andrew Garfield's getting reamed left, right, and center, and he can never, even if a movie comes out and he's not in it, people be like, "Oh, you're going to be in it? You're in it, aren't you?" But as going with She-Hulk, we see her back in the office, and then we see Wong come in and start talking to her about Donny Blaze and how he's messing up with the space-time continuum with using these portals. I don't know if you also saw the reference is that Madison was talking about when she was talking about going into different dimensions. This is a little bit early on, but when she goes in different dimensions, she mentions that she made some deal with some demon, and I already saw all the Mephisto memes.
Mephisto, he's here. We've been tracking this on our podcast. Like every show, there's some reference to like anything, even if it's like devil horns, whatever it is. People just up in arms. Mephisto's here. It's like I've been dealing with this my entire podcasting career. It's like I don't even care about. Like I've never cared about Mephisto. It's like whatever.
No, and I saw the best one, and it was Black Adam just dropped their second trailer, and there's a devil-looking character, I forgot its name, in the trailer right at the end. And I saw a picture of that, and I saw a picture of every Marvel fan heavy breathing.
Yes.
I was like, I know, ever since WandaVision, Mephisto, like, even when he does appear, everyone's going to be like, oh. I was right. I was wrong ever since WandaVision.
That's the thing. It's like there's Doctor Doom, there's Galactus, there's so many of these like big villains, but for whatever reason, Mephisto, that's the one we're all stuck on. Gotta see Mephisto. It's like, all right, chill.
Yeah, that's the main villain. We don't want Kang the Conqueror. We want Avengers Mephisto Dynasty. That's what we want.
Not Mephisto Dynasty.
You know it'd be good.
Yes.
But yeah, so Wong starts telling Jennifer all about this. Jennifer's trying to reason with him in the court of law, saying you can't legalize magic. But as the conversation goes on, she does agree to help him, which then leads to them going to the magicians, going to go see Donny Blaze, and they talk about the magic, how you can't do it. And I love that even Donny Blaze's constituent or sidekick, I was like, are you man-hyping him? Probably.
Yeah.
And they're going through all that debate, which then eventually leads to the courtroom, which they do have the court case, and we do get Madison making her appearance again, and we find out that her and Wong spent a much longer time together and watched more Sopranos together when she
spoils more. She
spoils more for him.
It's like, God, it's like hanging out with my mom. Like, she watches a show before me, and she, like, she'll spoil me. Actually, my wife is more bad about that. She will spoil me in a heartbeat, so.
Did you see this? No, I didn't.
Chill. But no, this is a fun court. The court scene was a lot of fun. Again, my favorite part about this is the fact that the lawyer of Donny Blaze is also a magician, and he's like pulling like a scarf out of his I'm like, this is so ridiculous that I couldn't help but to laugh. This was the hardest I've laughed in any of the episodes thus far. I thought it was really well played.
I fully agree, and I felt like Jennifer was the audience. And that's when her comments when she's like, oh my God, he's a magician too. Like, she's just showing us just how bad it is as well. Did you notice? Now, I could be going on a stretch, but when they talk, Wong makes a statement to the judge saying how dangerous this is. But when he's talking about it, I I can't remember the full thing, but he's talking about how it can create a divide between multiverses. It can cause them to clash. It can bring the end of everything, which sounds exactly like what could happen. What happens with Secret Wars? Like if you go back and listen,
good point. Yeah.
if you go back and listen to how he says it, everything, it sounds exactly what the plot of Secret Wars is going to be. How universes colliding on each other, coming together. It can be, and I was like, that's I thought like that's a bit stretched for me, but I thought that's a good nugget right there because we're still in the whole multiverse war right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the multiverse saga, sorry. So we're still in it. So I think they're still here's a bit of crumbs from all the low characters, street level characters.
Right. Yeah, no, that I actually didn't pick up on that. You know, he says a lot of different, he's like his big concerns about like this could collapse the space-time continuum, like stuff. It's like it's all kinds of stuff. But no, that's a good point. I definitely think these are breadcrumbs to something else for sure.
Yeah. Or quantum this or quantum that.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything you put quantum, it just makes sense. You don't need to add anything to it. But this courtroom case was really good. Obviously, all the magic that all the magicians did, even the judge was like, I'm sick of your crap. And, it's interesting the fact that like, you can't legalize magic, but I'm like, well, there's a difference between real magic and this street magic, which Donnie Blaze is kind of subpar on because he keeps using the smoke bombs too. And she's like, stop using the smoke bombs. And then, as I said, we get Madison and both Wong and Madison walk off. And even Jennifer's like, this is your witness. And then
I have a question for you. Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I wanted to ask you about, because this was I didn't get to talk about this on my podcast, but it was something I noted. Donnie Blaze, he leaves. He says, I have a bird for you too. And he gives him the middle finger, right?
Yeah.
But if you go back to episode 1, when Jen Walters gives the middle finger, it's blurred out. So why is it that Donnie Blaze can give the middle finger, but Jen Walters can't?
That's right. She was falling off the cliff, wasn't she? And it was blurred.
She was. It was blurred. So I was like, I don't know. I was kind of, maybe like, I get like, if you're going to blur a middle finger, that's fine. I understand, whatever. You're on your own streaming service. You can do whatever you want, but they still want to blur it. That's fine. But it was weird to me that he was able to give a middle finger, but she wasn't. What is that all about?
Maybe because she's a woman. That could be. The...
I mean, honestly, I think the real answer is that she's the hero and he's kind of a villain. But I mean, you make a good point. It's like I don't know.
A hero wouldn't flip somebody off. Yeah. That's true. Or maybe Hulks don't flip off in television.
Ooh, okay, good point. Yes.
Yeah. But no, I didn't notice that. That's a good point because you're right. Yeah. It wasn't blurred at all, but she was when she was falling off the cliff. Yeah, it's true. But as the court case does conclude, unfortunately, Donnie Blaze can still use the magic, and then they will be reconvened. Wong goes off with Madison, and Jennifer starts to go home, which leads us to the dating montage scene, where she's on an app like Tinder, and which is just called Match.
It's a dating app too, right? People meet on Twitter, right?
Yeah, that's true. People meet on 4chan or Reddit as well, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
and anything where you can message somebody is when you can start dating. But yeah, so what did you think of this dating montage?
So it was kind of cute. There was a couple funny moments, but I think the big one for me was there was one gentleman in particular that was, he's asking about her powers and what she's capable of, and like all kinds of stuff. She, how much can she lift, all that kind of stuff. But the weird thing to me was he started asking about what can penetrate her skin. Could vibranium do it? like, and that started making me think back to the last episode where she got mugged and somebody tried to inject her with something. So I'm like, that guy, he's got to be a bad guy, right?
Has to be. I did actually love that scene with the wrecking crew when she's all captive and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I can just Hulk out." But actually, that's a good interesting you put that up. Who is your theory of the wrecking crew? Who do you think hired the? I heard Kingpin, but I think you guys said it wouldn't be Kingpin because it's too low level for him.
I don't know. It feels weird for that to be one of his motivations, right? Like, I don't think he really is concerned about like stealing someone's powers or anything. And honestly, my thing is, I'm not big into the comics. Like, I don't know who the Wrecking Crew actually works for. So I feel like there probably is a better theory out there than what I can provide. I guess my unfortunate, uneducated answer is there's got to be a new character behind these people that is that, like the big bad of this series who we haven't met yet. And the DC show or the Disney Plus shows, they do this a lot where we don't see the real villain until the last couple episodes. But I feel like there is someone behind these guys that we don't know yet, and I honestly haven't seen any good theories thus far.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't either. And usually, pretty sure I could. Someone's going to correct me, but I think the Wrecking Crew is mainly, a Thor villain or Thor antennas because all their powers are usually enchanted by Asgardian tools or weapons. That's why they looked all enchanted and everything like that. So I think it's usually Thor that goes up against them. But yeah, I can't. The only thing I can think of would be Valentina for the Thunderbolts. She's the only other person I could think of that would want her blood to go try and create the Red Hulk, which we'll get into when we speak to D23 that might not happen because she's the only connection I can think of that would legit have a reason to get her blood. Because, even Hulk in episode 1 destroys her blood and says, you can't have someone get your blood. It's too dangerous, just like Captain America, which Captain America's blood is in so many different super soldiers now, or temps of super soldiers everywhere. Because really we've got Abomination, we've got Hulk, we've got She-Hulk. Really the next one in line to appear would be Red Hulk, which sadly can't be Thunderbolt Ross. R.I.P. He has passed away. So I'm very curious to know if the way they're honoring him is because that's why the team is going to be called Thunderbolts in the movie. But besides that, I can't really. I don't think it's Kingpin at all. I feel like it's not even close to what something he would do. And really, on a street level, I feel like we've been so with Mystic, Thor, and everything, like where we really don't know what's happening on the low levels at the moment. But yeah, going back to the dating scene, I like the montage. I did feel bad for Jen because she gets more likes as She-Hulk. But I do like how they're playing with her comics. The fact that she does date a lot. For anyone who doesn't know in the comics, She-Hulk has pretty much been with every single Marvel character that you know. There is comic strips of her in bed of every single one, and the list goes on, and I'm pretty sure there's even one with Juggernaut.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Yeah, I want to ask you about Matt Murdock, because obviously there was a mid-season trailer at some point. I didn't watch it, but I heard some rumblings. Do you think that there could possibly be a love interest between her and Matt Murdock?
I do think so. I do think so. There could be, because the fact that if you go watch the Daredevil's TV show, which I've just finished.
Well, hold on, don't spoil too much because I've just finished season 1 and I'm getting there. I'm going to. Yes,
for the first
I'm working
time
through it. Yes.
you're going to love it, especially season
Yeah.
2. What do you think of season 1?
It's a little different. Like, it's a different pace, right? It's a lot slower. There's more episodes. Um, I will say it's like a lot of the times I'm like, just become Daredevil already, right? Like, because the whole thing is like,
Yeah.
he's like the man in the black mask. It's like, I'm like, I don't know. It's like, just be Daredevil already. But I've really enjoyed it, and I'm excited for season 2. So, no complaints,
Well,
really.
well, that's season 2 is gonna answer all that question for you.
Cool.
Uh,
I
but
can't wait.
but I won't spoil anything. But look, you're gonna really like it. As you know, he's kind of a womanizer, which we do get.
Yes.
So I'm not surprised if him and She-Hulk do have something. I potentially could see the fact that if they do a love interest, he'll like Jen. He won't. He won't. He'll like her lawyer side. He won't like her She-Hulk version, which will make her like a whole lot more that he sees Jen, because you do see there is a mid trailer where he's actually talking to her in Jen. Oh, I was gonna say in Jen form, in Jennifer's normal form. You do see you talking to her, so I could see that he liking it. That will make the difference, and that will create a struggle between her whether she likes being She-Hulk more or being Jen. Which was probably a long answer to your question.
No, I think that's a good point, because I feel like, even, jumping ahead a little bit, like the whole episode was like nobody likes Jen for who she is. And even when she finds a guy that actually likes She-Hulk, he also doesn't like Jen. So it's like, I feel like we are building up to the point where like somebody's eventually going to like Jen, and that's going to be the guy for her. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. I think that could be Matt Murdock.
Yeah, I could see it too. I did feel bad for Jen in the morning after scene when he looks at her and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna leave now." Like, I felt bad for her, and I was like, "Oh, interesting." The fact this man likes you in a more bulky, deadlifting, physical body, green, potentially looking like Fiona from Shrek body. So you probably have no love lost there. But
Yeah.
as we also get to see just moments before, we get a fantastic action scene where Donny Blaze does use the sling ring one more time, which allows all these goblins come through the portal. But we do get to see Jen in action as She-Hulk, which I don't think we got much. Well, we got a little bit with the Wrecking Crew, but she was actually fully using her powers, taking them out, which I did like.
Yeah, I like the slow build up to She-Hulk becoming an actual superhero, right? Because we get like her versus Hulk, like you said, with the Wrecking Crew, but like this is our first time like she's kind of being a superhero, right? There's like this worldly threat, and she's taking them out. So I'm really excited to see a little bit more of that as well. And yeah, this is a really fun scene. Again, I think like she's breaking the fourth wall here. She's kind of talking about, oh, I could be on my date, but here I am. I'm like, it's like, again, I mean, I didn't need you to say that. It's like, I get that this is like an inconvenience to you. Like, you didn't have to, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, you didn't have to tell us. And then they obviously save and close the portal. And Donny Blaze gives up the sling ring, which we don't actually see Wong take, but he gives it up because Wong closes the portal, which he does open it to like a snowy mountaintop, which made me think of Doctor Strange 2, if it was going to the same place. And as the episode starts to wrap up, she gets sued by Titania, which we haven't seen since episode 1. But I do love how she's like, oh, it's my name. What about Thor and Doctor Strange? Yeah, that's their actual names.
I like that running theme, because we even get that in Infinity War as well, where can we use our real names? It's like, no, Doctor Strange, that's me. I'm Stephen Strange.
Yeah.
So yeah. This is cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. Like we're actually seeing a trademark. For, all these heroes get their names, Falcon, Captain America, and everything. But it's interesting seeing a new hero struggle with trying to trademark their own name. So I'm very curious to see how this will go. But overall, for me, I enjoyed the episode. I found it funny, action, more in depth with Jen. And we got the mid-season trailer, which is just hyped me up more for Daredevil to pop up because, it's the interesting thing about is seeing Daredevil pop up is because no origin story. You can watch the first 3 seasons of Daredevil and it's straight into it. And we already know his background. We know the fact he knows Peter Parker. He's Spider-Man No Way Home. But whatever happens in She-Hulk is obviously going to lead somewhere for Echo and obviously into his own TV show.
Which I cannot wait for. And again, as somebody hasn't finished Daredevil yet, just season 1 guy here, it's really, I'm nervous about it a little bit. Let me ask you this. I think that's a good question. How do you feel about Disney taking over Daredevil? Because that was my big takeaway after watching season 1 is like, I don't know that Disney can tackle this. What do you think?
I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, he's going to get nerfed. It's not going to be as good. He's going to be making quips. He's going to be making all this stuff." I don't think his show is going to be as bloody, but I think we will still get like the hallway scenes. You could still do that in Disney, and I have complete faith in both Charlie Cox and Kevin Feige that they will do the character justice. Because everything we've seen, obviously there have been snippets, but even when he's talking to Jen, he sounds exactly the same. And even this suit, I won't spoil it to you, but the suit will make more sense when you get to end of season 3. If Kevin Feige have greenlit 18 episodes of Daredevil, I highly doubt he's going to be making quips and everything. I think it's still going to be on like that Moon Knight, Winter Soldier kind of vibe where it's still going to be very gritty. And the thing is, a lot of people forget too, Daredevil still made jokes. When he's with all his friends and everything, he still makes quips and everything. And sometimes depending on the type of person he's speaking to or the bad guy he's wrapping up, he sometimes makes a quip too. And, we saw Kingpin in Hawkeye, and to me, he was still kicking ass the same way. He was still the same character.
And as far as I've seen from season 1, I think Kingpin in Hawkeye, he might get better, but like I thought he was like on ultra mode, right? Like I thought he was really badass in Hawkeye compared to how he was at least in season 1 of Daredevil. So
it was the Hawaiian shirt, wasn't it? That's what really took you away. This big guy in a Hawaiian shirt and a white tuxedo.
Yeah.
But
hey, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
This is completely off topic. I've been thinking about this, right? Because you're from Australia, right? Are you missing the lack of Australian representation in the MCU?
To be honest with you, I know it's really big with other people, but not overly. Like, yeah, would it be great to see an Australian hero in the MCU? That'd be fantastic. But like, the closest thing we've got is Mads Mikkelsen in Miss Marvel, because he kept his Australian accent as the Skrull. So that's still, and he requested that. He requested to still keep his Australian accent when he's in full makeup, which I thought was really good. But not overly gutted. Do I wish I could hear I would love to see a very Aussie superhero start talking to everybody in a group meeting. That would be fantastic. An Avengers meeting, that'd be fantastic. But we're not going to get it because, obviously with all the comics and everything, you would have to completely flip the character of their origin story for it to work.
Yeah.
We got Chris Hemsworth. He's pulling the flag, and some of the best comic book characters are Australian. Both Hugh Jackman, Chris Hemsworth, I guess Russell Crowe's Zeus. Don't count that one. But it's and that's a good flagship that I'm happy to say. The best Wolverine is Australian. No,
okay,
so best Wolverine is Australian. Who's from Canada, who has an American accent.
Yeah. Kind of a mishmash. I want to ask you that because, I've got a couple other friends from Australia that I've met online and whatnot, and you're the first one that I know that is into, the MCU. So I was curious, if that meant anything to you, if it was important to you in any way. Because, and from the other Australian friends that I've had, they're some of my best friends. So it's for me, it's I love Australian people thus far, and for me, honestly, we need more Australian superheroes. So I didn't know if it spoke to you more personally or not, but yeah, it's interesting to hear.
I would love it. I would love to see a Australian superhero in Avengers lineup, even if it was just for said 2 lines and left, and then mow down a whole bunch of villains, and that was it. I'd be like, nah, I'm good. Especially badass style, like Punisher style. That'd be great. But yeah, you have to do the complete swap of the origin character and everything for it to work.
Maybe we'll get Australian Peter Parker and Spider-Verse 2.
Oh, that would be,
I don't even know if that's a thing.
Don't count Captain Boomerang.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to claim. I don't want to claim it to that because it's such a stupid character name.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me throw something that's going to come right back at you, and which he gets completely mowed down in the second Suicide Squad movie.
Yes.
In seconds.
In seconds.
But as your take, are you still on the same hype train for the rest of the season of She-Hulk?
Listen, I'm all about it. I really appreciate the cameos. I feel like sometimes that's kind of like it's I don't need cameos, but it really helps, I think, to shepherd in this character into the larger MCU. So I think that's doing really well, and I know we're going to get more of that, which I'm excited for. I thought this episode was the funniest episode of She-Hulk thus far, so that gives me hope as well. And She-Hulk has balls. Let me put it that way. She-Hulk is not afraid to do anything, and that's what I appreciate so much about this show. So I'm all in. I'm super excited for the final 5 episodes.
Yes. I'm, again, so glad it's nine episodes long for this one. But yet, I'm the same, man. I'm still very hyped for it. I still can't wait for the rest of the season. Question, do you think this show is doing better because the fact it's connected to one of the original 6 Avengers? Because it's heavily connected.
For me, it does. And I'm not quite sure what it is. I kind of mentioned, a little low on Miss Marvel, a little low on Moon Knight. But Hawkeye, for me, Loki, even WandaVision, I feel like these shows that are a bit more connected, I feel a lot more investment into it. And I think that's the big thing. It's yes, you can have this origin story, and maybe it's the best origin story ever, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I'm super invested in what the Avengers have done thus far. And the more we can tie that into those movies, I think it serves the series better. So, I think Hulk has serviced the series well.
No, that's thank you for answering that, because I was very curious, because I was looking back and I thought to myself, WandaVision did very well. Loki's done fantastic. Hawkeye beat everybody's expectations. And so right now She-Hulk, but what they all have in common compared to the other shows is they're heavily connected to the original 6 Avengers. But, a lot of people didn't like What If. I liked What If, especially the last episode with Ultron and seeing him actually come full power, what he was meant to be. I liked What If. A lot of people didn't.
I'm on the What If train. I love What If. So
Oh,
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
My favorite was the Doctor Strange one. Just Doctor Strange was my favorite episode.
What a great episode of TV, honestly. Like that truly I like that one. I know a lot of people hate on the Captain Carter one. I love that one. I love Marvel Zombies was my favorite. I love that. Like I'm all about What If. So
Yes. Fully. Hey, and that's getting its own TV show too, and that's going to be M15
yes.
MA. Like that's going full rating for that. So I'm really excited when
Just
that
like
comes
Daredevil
out.
should be.
That should be, but I don't think they haven't announced the rating yet, have they?
We'll see. We'll see.
So it could be anyway. But let's flip over the fence to D23, which we're just removed from. Now, so today we got, being a Sunday, we got, well, it'll be Saturday, sorry, it'll be Saturday for you guys. Saturday was all the movie news and TV shows. Friday was all the video game news. And the biggest gaming news from that was which I don't know why this is getting made or who greenlit this, Pokemon Go Marvel.
Yeah, listen, first of all, I'm not a big Pokemon guy. Secondly, I'm not a big Pokemon Go guy. But there was a point there at the beginning when everybody was playing Pokemon Go, and of course, I downloaded it. I tried it. It was crazy, and if they do it right, it could be sensational in that way. And I do hope that a Marvel game can reach that more general audience. Where, like, for instance, someone like me that's not a Pokemon fan, I played the game. Maybe somebody that's not a Marvel fan will also be playing that Marvel game. So I think it all depends on how they do it and how they can captivate the world the way that Pokemon Go did.
Fully agree. The only thing is that to me, that's what I'm worried about. Is because for Pokemon Go, for the concept of that being in Pokemon, it's perfect for the concept and like the story of everything, of the nature of Pokemon. Marvel could be a little bit different because I know they did a Harry Potter one, which just closed down, I think. But you're right, Pokemon Go went utterly nuts. Even the app kept crashing when it first came out. And my favorite tweet, I still remember this day, it's terrible, but it was like, what's her name? What's Barack Obama's wife's name?
Michelle
Spent 5 years battling child obesity. Pokemon Go craze beat it in 24 hours. I was like,
yes.
And, there was people, I remember stories, people getting hit, people jumping the fences in the wrong places that you weren't meant to go. Even when you drove down and go past a lake, there was so many people walking around with their phones. It was massive. And I don't know anyone who still plays it now, but I think in a Marvel setting, if done right, could be really cool. It's set for 2023, but I don't know. So would it be you get to change your powers and you have to walk to a group of villains, or there's different like Avengers HQs you have to defend off, like the gyms?
Yeah, that's the big question. It's like I'm not really sure what path they're going to take, and if that's going to reach like a more general audience. I think that's what's going to be interesting to track. I will say, like, I don't mind this as much knowing that we have like at least 3 very big like AAA Marvel video games that are coming, and it's like if you want to try it in like this Pokemon Go type situation, might as well. It might flop, there's a lot of Marvel games on the App Store now that like completely I've never played or touched. So it's like if it sucks, yeah, if it sucks, it's like whatever. It doesn't bother me. So this could be really great and I could fall completely obsessed with it, or it could fall flat and I wouldn't care, So I'm kind of there with this game.
Yeah, it would just be another game in the App Store. I think Strike Force and there was one that came out. I think Galaxy Conquest, the fighter one. The
Yeah,
fighter one.
yeah,
I
yeah.
got assessed that for a while, but then I was like, this got really repetitive. But yeah, very same thing. I'm very curious to know how it's going to come out because that's coming 2023 at this stage. Another one that got announced was from Skydance Media. I think same guys behind the Uncharted series. They're making a Captain America and Black Panther video game. Which, before anyone asks, no, it's not T'Challa because it's based on World War II. You idiots! It's I saw someone. It's going to be T'Challa. I'm like, why would it be T'Challa? Why?
Yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
no.
but all it says is the fact it's a brand new AAA title, 4 heroes, 1 war. That's about really it about it, and I need to know more to make a judge for it. How? Because even the trailer was just your typical showing you the World War II, then you saw the shield, then you saw the T'Challa's scratch marks, Black Panther, sorry, but you didn't see anything else, no gameplay, nothing. So obviously it's in very, very, very early development. I don't know if I'm not excited for it, but I'm not like it's going to be shit.
Yeah, I think
It's
we're
just
more
there.
excited for the Wolverine game. This feels like
Yes.
I feel like this is a bit more, kind of like I said, kind of hit or miss. Maybe I love it, maybe I don't. I will say, like, I'm curious if they can capture some of the love that like Call of Duty World at War had in maybe some
Mm.
competitive modes. I think that would be interesting, even if you tied it into something more similar to like how the Battlefront games went, where like, okay, maybe you're like a
Yes.
general, like, private soldier on the battlefields, but then you do well enough, you can unlock Captain America that comes in, I think that would be pretty interesting. Um, Other than that, it's like it's kind of hard for me to picture how this is going to work as like more of an Uncharted type video game. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm a bit interested. I'm interested in the fact that they picked Black Panther. Like to me, when I think of World War II characters, I think of Wolverine, I think of Magneto, and not Black Panther. Obviously, there was a Black Panther around at that time, but I don't think I don't quote me, but I think there's big comics of the fact that Black Panther being around in World War II. So it's gonna be interesting when that comes out. I'm more excited for the Wolverine game, Spider-Man 2 game that's in the works. The Wolverine game currently doesn't have a release date, but I'm expecting either 2024 for that game. But we did get the confirmation for the release date for Marvel's Midnight Suns, which I thought was going to be pushed back until 2023, but that is getting released December 2nd, which, if for any XCOM fans, same kind of concept, turn-based team. I'm gonna buy. I most likely will buy it, but I'm glad the fact it's coming this year.
Yeah, this is the one of the three that I heard the least about. I know it's been announced before, but I haven't really been following what it's all about. You say XCOM. I've never played XCOM, but I know kind of what it is. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can fit that for it. And one of the big things that I heard about XCOM that people like is the fact that like you have kind of this revolving door of team members that and it's very high stakes. Like when your team member dies, it's like you lose that character for real. There's no respawn for that character, right? And I wonder how they're going to be able to capture that in a Marvel setting where like there's these big heroes that you're fighting with. So I don't know. I'll be interested to see how that goes as well.
Yes, so am I. Because XCOM's a really good game. For me, it's a little bit slow because it's just that turn-based style. But it's a great game, and it's about how it's going to involve these characters. Because I think what happened is they've done a lot of promotional material, they've done gameplay. The reason why it got shown on Friday because they were like, "We've got this coming out. This is the release date." So this was a push to tell you that we're still coming this year. Because yeah,
Yeah.
all the promotional materials was done. I think around at Comic Con this year, and I think Feb or March there was still a lot of gameplay and trailers because it was originally October. it was meant to come out. But at least we have a release date for that now. But let's jump over to the most exciting thing that we got today, which, Michael, you start us off. What was the most interesting news that you found from D23 4 hours or 5 hours removed as we're recording this?
So I feel like there's two that's kind of on an equal playing field for me. On Star Wars and Marvel. I feel like there's one Star Wars project that stuck out and one Marvel one. So I'm going to throw it to the Star Wars project. I feel like the biggest thing for me was Tales of the Jedi. I'm a big Clone Wars fan. I'm a big Rebels fan. I love all the Star Wars animation. I feel like they always do it right. And I cannot wait for what they're bringing here, especially when we're diving into the backstory of Count Dooku as well as Mace Windu. Like, these are two of my favorite characters from the prequels, and we're finally getting more content on it. We're gonna see that turn from Count Dooku into a Sith, and like how everyone else handles that. We even get some Yaddle stuff. We're all about the Yodas in this modern Star Wars age. So it's gonna be. I'm super excited for what the show has to offer. That's the thing about. I feel like with the live action shows, I feel like they're more companion pieces to the movies, right? I feel like they're more so just building off on what those movies had, while the animated shows typically give us more so what the Star Wars fans are wanting. And I feel like, I mean, if you ask anybody what you want from the prequels or any characters to expand upon, it's Count Dooku and it's Mace Windu, and we're getting both of that. As well as Ahsoka. So I'm super excited for this. The trailer just like had the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I am so stoked for Tales of the Jedi.
Fully behind you, man. When I saw Tales of the Jedi got announced back in Star Wars Celebration, the Count Dooku, when they were talking about that story, that was the one that most intrigued me. I'm like, yes, we're getting Ahsoka. Yeah, she's a very popular character. I get that. But I feel like, we got her heavily in the Clone Wars for obvious reasons. And then she's also getting her own live action TV show. But I felt like, well, it's only, you only got glimpses of Count Dooku's turn to the Sith. We haven't, besides the comics, which dives into, we haven't seen anything in animation, live action. That's the most thing for me that I can't wait for, and which I thought this was going to be 2023. The way they announced it at Star Wars Celebration, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be, a year away. But no, October 23rd. October 23rd I've got for this month. Sorry, next month it's coming out. It's 6 episodes. I think it's 6 episodes. But no, it's all animation style, same as the Clone Wars, the Bad Batch. So, and all the voice casts are returning, which will be fantastic. And like I said, more Mace Windu. No one says no to more Mace Windu.
Nope. Yeah.
Except for him to appear in live action. But yeah, we got, before this episode started, I did love your reaction. Like, oh yeah, we got the Andor trailer for the 4th time.
Yeah, look, I'm excited for Andor, like, well enough, Again, that was kind of my thing. It's like, did we need an Andor series? Like, is there anything else we could have built on? But that's what we're getting, and I'm going to be excited for it. So, it is what it is.
Well, you better get used to it, because they're also getting a season 2 as well already. So that's... Star Wars Andor, when it got announced, I can't say as a Star Wars fan, I was like, I was really wanting this. I really wanted to see a Rogue One prequel, based on a prequel technically. I really can't wait to see that. But everything from the trailers, it looks so gritty. It looks so, again, which I always say, out of all the Star Wars media, out of all the Star Wars films, Rogue One, to me, is the only film that actually feels like a war film. The way it's shot, it actually feels like you're in the trenches. It's gritty. There's explosions. There's people dropping left, right, center. And we get that kind of grittiness that we do see in the trailer as well. but yes, that's premiering. That's premiering with 3 episodes at launch, and that's right around the corner actually. But yeah, didn't really need another trailer.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah,
We're right there.
yeah. But we did get the trailer, which we know it got leaked. We finally got the trailer for Mando season 3, which he is back with Grogu, his new ship, and he's going to be trying to go back to Mandalore to try and become the Mandalorian again, because we found out in we didn't find out in Mandalorian season 2. We found out in the Book of Boba Fett that Mandalorian is no longer a Mandalorian. And he's going to be struggling because he's also got the Darksaber as well. So Mandalorian, I absolutely loved it. When it first got announced, similar thing, I was like, this is going to be the first live action Disney Plus show coming out. It hasn't got Luke in it. It's nothing about the prequels or nothing about the Clone Wars. It's about this Mandalorian. I was like, okay, I guess I'll watch it. Sold. Take my money. I want more seasons. Give me 8 more seasons of Mandalorian.
Yeah, the weird thing about The Mandalorian is it was almost like they wanted to recreate the success of Boba Fett, right? They knew that we liked this hooded figure that kind of mysterious, that's like really badass in combat. And it seemed like they really were just kind of, leeching off the success of that. Which was weird because we ended up getting a Boba Fett series in and of itself. And I feel like even within The Mandalorian, I was also like, okay, people have really like Yoda. So here's a baby Yoda, a lot of it felt IG-88 was a offshoot of IG-11. It's like they were constantly like recreating characters. So like on the premise alone, like just as you, I was like, do we need this show? But, now I'm completely invested. I'm so excited. That new shippy, that Naboo starfighter, I think that's it's the coolest thing, man. It's like a muscle car. Can't wait for more of that. The trailer was, again, you mentioned it was leaked. I saw, and I was like, when I saw the leaked trailer, I was like, this is not real, because they had like Salacious Crumb from Jabba's palace. They had Babu Frick, right? I was like, what is going on? This is wild. What the heck is going on? But they're giving it to us, and you know what? At this point, I'm on board. Whatever you got, throw it at me. I'm excited.
Yeah, done. Fully 100%. Unfortunately for everyone, it's not going to be the traditional December release. It says, the trailer says 2023. I think the rumor for it is to be Feb. But you did bring up a good point, Michael, is that the Bad Batch new season also drops in Feb. So it could be March, it could be April for Mando season 3, which would be the longest gap. Oh no. Book of Boba Fett was Feb this year, or January, I think. Book of Boba Fett was roughly about then. But, either way, whenever it comes out, fully sold on it. I can't wait because Bad Batch returns on January the 4th, 2023. Which same thing with Clone Wars, fantastic show. Everyone's clamoring for that to come back. Which we got a very significant Star Wars news this time around, but it was almost like just that extra little bits from Star Wars Celebration, which at curiosity, have you watched the behind the scenes of Obi-Wan Kenobi doco special?
I have not. Typically, I don't watch the behind the scenes stuff because I never hear anything about it. So I'm like, what's going on? But if you have something to tell me, maybe I'll check it out.
It's really good to see. I think the bigger thing I took away from the behind the doco is it shows a lot of these massive interchangeable sets that they've built. If they built for Mandalorian, they've got, I think, they've got 3 or 4 of them now. But just how they can make these worlds, how it's so massive, it's fully immersed in a full fully curved screen, and they can make anything. And when they were showing that both Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen were standing in front on the set, and they were playing Star Wars 3 footage and Star Wars 2. So they're standing and they're looking on this massive screen all back there, and it was good seeing how they felt getting back into these characters after all this time. Probably the worst thing was as it ends, they talk about how great the Star Wars celebration is and how all the great feedback is, and they're like, and when the episode launches, you and McGregor, you'll be going on TikTok telling everyone to leave Moses alone because she leaves Instagram because Star Wars attacks her. So I was like, oh,
Yeah, the dark side of Star Wars for sure.
yeah. Question, because I would like everyone's opinion on this. Who do you think has the most toxic fan base?
Oh, definitely Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's definitely like an undershadow of like, some sexist and racist stuff in Marvel, but I feel like it's like as soon as a female character or even a black character shows up on the screen in Star Wars, it's like, from the second Rey was announced, the fact that people knew that there would be a woman leading a Star Wars movie, like people had issues with it. And it's like, I feel like it is just true, like core and core toxicity coming from Star Wars. And I feel like that even like when we're talking about The Last Jedi, you might not like The Last Jedi, I'm not even going to get into like my opinion or your opinion, but like just the feelings people have about that movie, it's so strong. And the hate, like people actually deny becoming a director of a Star Wars movie because they're afraid of what the fans would think of their film. And people don't do that for Marvel. If you're offered a Marvel project, people are like, yes. If you're offered a Star Wars project, people are like, hell no, get me away. Like, even J.J. Abrams was like, get me out of here. Like, I want nothing to do with this. They ended up, I guess they gave him enough money to make him agree. But even at the time, I believe he denied the proposal to do a Star Wars movie. And I can't blame him because the fans are scary, man. Yeah. They're scary.
They're in. Well, look what happened with the prequels. Look what happened with
exactly.
the kid Anakin.
Yeah, exactly.
It's insane, like the length they go to. These fans go to. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I didn't like Last Jedi, but I wasn't. I'm going to attack the director, or I'm going to attack everyone. I'm going to attack. How dare they have a female lead? How dare they have a black character? Which that's a story for another day. That they butchered his entire arc. But in J.J. Abrams, you're right. He didn't want to return for episode. He dropped out of episode 5, and he had to come back in episode 6 to fix everything. And look at Rian Johnson. Like he got attacked and everything from it. Yeah, but on the flip side, he got completely praised for his work with Knives Out because it wasn't Star Wars. Because it was all
Exactly. And that's like, even Rian Johnson, he's agreed. I don't know what they've talked about him making a trilogy. I don't know where that stands now, but the balls on that man to be like, yeah, I'm going to make more Star Wars movies after The Last Jedi. Like, even like, no matter who you are, you have to be a little bit afraid of that. So that's, I will say, just as, again, this is Lights, Camera, Rant. This is my rant here.
Go for it.
The Lego Star Wars holiday special, as well as the summer vacation. Say what you will. If you don't like it, if it's not your humor, that's fine. The one thing that they do right, they give Finn the Force. They acknowledge the fact that Finn is an upcoming Jedi, and that's the thing that the final act of the sequels failed, was the fact that they completely ignored his character. They didn't give him any development. And in the fact that they did explore the fact that he might have the Force, and they never closed it out. The Lego, of all things in the Star Wars universe, the Lego series on Disney Plus will confirm that Finn has the Force, which I love. It's my favorite thing. I love it.
So Lego does it right.
Exactly.
I just don't get it. Like, he was so poised at the end of Force Awakens. And then I think I saw after Rise of Skywalker, someone put on TikTok, I'm like, this is Finn's character in a nutshell, and it was just a compilation of him yelling out Ray for an entire trilogy. I'm like, yeah, that's all you've done.
And that's not a bad that's not a bad way to describe his character. That's all he did.
Nah. Ray, yes, you're not important. We want more Kylo Ren. Uh, now, another thing that from D23 we did, which unfortunately we didn't get the trailer for, which I didn't see it at all, but you did, was Indiana Jones. Apparently, the new Indiana Jones movies trailer dropped, but we didn't get to see it. And this will be John Williams' last score of a movie that he will do before he's going to retire. And this is being directed by James Mangold, who directed Logan and the Wolverine. And this will obviously be Harrison Ford's last outing as Indiana Jones. Before that man, I don't know what's going to kill that man. I don't know what. But yeah, it'll be his last outing. Here's the biggest thing. Do you think it will be better than Episode 4? Episode 4. Indiana Jones 4.
So, admittedly, I'm a big fan of the first three renditions of Indiana Jones. If my camera screen was larger, you would see a Temple of Doom poster over here. I love Temple of Doom. Big Indiana Jones fan. I've kind of waited. I watched the movie in the theater. Yeah, I watched the movie in the theater, Crystal Skull. I liked it at the time, but I haven't seen it since, which is like my crown of shame of my Indiana Jones franchise. But, I heard a lot of negative things, and I was like, if I rewatch it now, is it not going to hold the same weight as it did when I was younger? So it's a loaded question here. It could be on that level of where it's currently known, which is not great. But, I've just never, no matter what you give us, whether it's Harrison Ford, maybe you give us a spinoff with Shia LaBeouf, it doesn't matter what it is. That score from Indiana Jones, the title card, to just the adventure, to the supernatural stuff that comes with it. I love Indiana Jones, and I'm so excited for it. It doesn't matter. Even if it's bad, I don't care. I don't care. I'm just excited to be in that world again. And I think it's a super special franchise to me, and I cannot wait for it. And like you said, Harrison Ford's last outing, John Williams, you can't beat it. I cannot wait for this movie.
Neither can I, man. I'm really looking forward to it. And the video? Actually, that's another thing. I was surprised we didn't get any more news about the video game that got announced.
This is what Disney loves to do. They love to announce new things and not clarify on old things. Because like I said, with the Wolverine game, the Indiana Jones game, we get nothing on that. But, here's a new one that nobody asked for.
Yeah, it's coming. That's all you need to know. Can I know anything else? No, you cannot. Because I think that the trailer, pretty sure the trailer is just it going over the map and then going Indiana Jones video game, new adventure. That's it. And look, I fully agree with you. Indiana Jones is one of my all-time favorite trilogies. I made my partner, who had never seen it, I sat down with her. I was like, we need to watch one of them. I chose to make her watch Indiana Jones 3 because of the humor in it. Let's start. I was like, let's start with this one because you're probably not going to watch Temple of Doom. You're probably not going to show you the rip of the heart one, ripping the heart out. But I remember watching Indiana Jones as a kid. My old man, he was like, "We need to sit down and watch these. You're gonna really like him." And I remember being mesmerized because the adventure of it. And I think from Indiana Jones is why I liked so much The Mummy when that came out, because that was, again, it was adventure, trying to find something, a MacGuffin, if you call it, a MacGuffin, try and do, and that was really good. So I have high hopes for Indiana Jones 5, and I feel James Mangold coming out of the back of Logan, you have my full support.
That's the thing, man. James Mangold, that's And James Mangold has been in this sphere of Disney things for a long time without making a project. He was supposed to direct a Boba Fett movie before the series was
That's
ever.
right.
And like this guy has been waiting to get into Lucasfilm for a long time. I feel like he's got guns loaded on both waists. Like he's ready to shoot that shot. And I think that's the biggest hope for me with this movie is it's in trusted hands, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agreed. And it's like, well, what did you make last, Logan? One of the single greatest comic book movies ever made. Okay, yeah,
Exactly.
I guess we'll hire you. But it'd be very interesting to see what's going to happen to the Indiana Jones franchise after 5 when Harrison Ford does leave. Because as we both know, Disney will not leave something like Indiana Jones on the table with nothing. There is, I'm surprised we haven't got a Disney Plus show. Disney Plus show for some stupid reason. With, I don't think they'll do a reboot, but I could see them doing. Yeah, I think after Indiana Jones 5, I could see them announcing something else. Disney Plus show or a movie.
Let me put this in stone right now. They're going to set up, and actually, I'm going to go even further than I was thinking I was going to go. Indiana Jones is going to have a daughter that he doesn't know about. She's going to come to fruition in this, and it's going to be called Diana Jones. That's what the future of Indiana Jones is going to be, is Diana Jones. I'm totally shooting stuff at the wall at this point, but I feel like they can't let go of the Jones name, and that's what's going to happen.
Nah, and she still has to be named after the dog.
Yes.
Has to be. I could see that too. And again, I love the internet. Would love that to get announced.
Yeah. Can I throw something at you real quick? Kind of off the page. It's a Lucasfilm project that people don't talk about enough. Actually, first, before I get to this, how old are you? I don't know this. How old are you?
How old do you think I am?
I think you're 25.
29.
Okay, you're older than me. I didn't know. You've aged well. Okay, I'm 28.
I have this wonderful thing where I can't grow a beard, so I still have a baby face. Even when my job, I'm like, oh, how you going? It's like, oh, you're very young. I'm like, yes, let's go with that.
Yeah, hold on to that one. So, you're a little bit, you're older than me. So, have you seen Willow?
I remember seeing it as a kid. I could not tell you for beat, but I know they've just announced, I think it's a Disney Plus show. I saw the poster for it. I know Warwick Davis is so excited for it. The man that's been in more franchises than you can think of. If you go check his Wikipedia, he's been in so many, he's been like a Lucky Charm for all these friends. Harry Potter, Star Wars. I can't think of it. There's two off the top of my head. But you're right. And you're right. Not a lot of people are talking about that. Yet, for the fan base of Willow, everyone's super excited for it.
Yes. I kind of the same as you. I don't remember a lot about it. I totally watched it as a kid. I really enjoyed it as a kid. And it's kind of something that kind of just I forgot about over the years, but we're getting a Willow series in that trailer. I'm super excited about it. Like, I believe it is actually going to be a series on Disney Plus. And, I like I said, my podcast covers Star Wars and Marvel, but I would love to cover Willow. Like, this looks so fun. It seems like something of the Rings of Power fame of where, like, you're kind of rebooting an old franchise that I used to love. And, again, Warwick Davis, like, you can't go wrong. Like, he is a good luck charm. You can't go wrong there. So, no, I wanted to ask you about that because I am super excited. That trailer was on point for me.
I did enjoy the trailer as well. I'm very curious to see how this is going to come out for Disney Plus. One of the biggest things that I was saying to a friend the other day that I do love, yes, people are like, oh, there's so many Disney Plus shows and blah, blah, blah. Like, Yeah, but the thing is, with this avenue, just like Willow, they can go back and give these old movies from the 90s and 2000s that you've always loved and better give them more fresh air because, all these characters want to come back for these movies because, Willow, Hocus Pocus 2, the Santa Claus, Disenchanted, they're not getting a brush of fresh air, but, it's a continuation that for all these fans are clamoring for more.
Yeah, it's almost like a revitalization of like you said, there's
Bingo.
a lot of movies that they're kind of one-offs. Even Inside Out from Pixar, which is getting a sequel, and Willow, you mentioned Disenchanted, like a lot of movies that you would think would kind of be lost with time are kind of coming back and like can we build an entire franchise from Willow? I don't know, but we'll see how this series is, and we'll give it a chance. And I think that's what's really cool about what Disney Plus is doing. And I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, same here. And there's so much content on Disney Plus. It's and as I was as a podcast, I'm like, it's just so hard. So much time in the day to try and watch all these things and all these all these different TV shows and movies coming out with all these streaming services, trying to stay up to date. Like I still need to watch Ted Lasso because apparently that is fantastic.
Yeah, I just got Apple TV Plus, and I'm actually watching For All Mankind. But yeah, that opens the door to so many things I haven't seen. So
yeah. Moving on, but I totally forgot Willow was actually Lucasfilms as well. I forget all the other properties that Lucasfilms actually does have. Even didn't Lucasfilms do Howard the Duck?
That's a good point. I actually don't know. I never saw that Howard the Duck films.
Don't watch it. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
Loss.
I'll pass.
So one of the news that we did get from D23 about Marvel was that we get half and half. Yay, we got some news about it. No, because we didn't get the cast for it. It was Fantastic Four. We've got a director attached to it now. What was his name? Matt
Shackman.
Yeah. Oh God, it sounds like a basketball player, like Shaq. So this guy has done majority of TV shows in his credentials, but the most recently why he would have been attached to this that we were talking about before this episode started was the fact that he's directed and worked on multiple episodes of WandaVision. So originally it was going to be John Watts who directed the Spider-Man trilogy. He's decided to opt out, bit of superhero fatigue. He currently be working on the Wrecking Crew for Star Wars, which we did get a photo at D23 of Jude Law, nothing else. But, even though we didn't get the cast, I'm not gutted. It's not the end of the world. I think people forget the fact this movie is still 2020, end of 2024 or 2025.
Something like it's far away.
So the filming is so far away for it to even begin, and it's pre-production. Like it's that far ahead. Especially if they've only got the director now, of course they're not going to have the cast picked yet. And because I know I saw people thinking Henry Cavill coming in, and the guy from the Netflix TV show You, he was going to appear in it. And have you ever seen Free Guy?
I have not.
You'll like it. It's with Ryan Reynolds, but
this is with the chick. What's her name? I don't know. I interrupted you, but
no, that's right. Yeah, the main chick in that, she was apparently rumored to play. She's rumored to play Sue Storm.
Yes. I should stop trying to guess her name. But she was in Killing Eve, which is a good TV. I watched the first season of that, and she was really good in that. She was. Have you seen The Northman?
No, but I heard it went really well.
Good film, and she was really great in that as well. So I feel like, as far as possible picks for her, that's a good one. I want to ask you this.
Sure.
obviously we get John Krasinski in Multiverse of Madness. Um, is that someone you're tied to? Is that someone like you have to have that in your Fantastic Four?
Look, I saw a lot of comments about that as well. People being like, "Oh, why isn't he going to be him?" I'm completely fine the fact if he does not appear in the Fantastic Four movie. I feel, look, this was definitely fan service. We got the cameo. All we know is the fact that Kevin Feige will be looking at a youngish team. I think John's a little bit too old because you remember John originally auditioned for Captain America. If he was the same age as he was when he auditioned for Captain America, he would have been the perfect Mr. Fantastic. But he's not the type of person that Kevin Feige is going to build upon because you got to remember that Fantastic Four will be a significant pillar in the MCU moving forward.
That's fair. So I've always loved that fan casting of John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. So I
I
do
want the
feel a
fan
little
art.
harsh. It's like I don't. It just strikes something within me, and then seeing him in Multiverse of Madness, it's like it's hard for me to picture the team without him now. Um,
Yeah.
if nothing else, I'm glad we got him in the cameo that he was. Um, so I wouldn't be devastated if he wasn't there, but I don't know. It feels right to me. I feel like John Krasinski has to have a permanent role in the MCU at some point, and I feel like this is if you're not going to bring him in here, I don't know where you do. So I would like him in the MCU. If it's not in that role, so be it. But I don't know. I itch for it. I'm a fan of The Office. What can I say?
Yeah, The Office is a great show, and like, don't get me wrong, like, I liked him in Fantastic. I wish that Sue Storm with Emily Blunt, wish she was in it too. That would have just made it perfect. Yes, he did get put into spaghetti, spaghetti very quickly, very quickly. But at the same time, I could see him appearing in Secret Wars because anything is on the table for Secret Wars. So it's a very high chance he could reappear in there. But I would love to see him as a more paramount character in the MCU. As what character, I don't know. And I think even if he does appear in the MCU as a different character, I don't think people will be like, "Oh no, that's too confusing. He played Mr. Fantastic." I'm like, well, no, different universe, different multiverse, and he's not going to get killed by Wanda within 2 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. So
uh,
we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited for Fantastic Four, no matter what the cast is. So we'll see.
yeah. I just can't wait to see how they're going to bring him in. That's the biggest thing for me. Is how they're going to how they're going to do that origin story, or is it just going to be they're all fine? As far as we know, the Avengers Tower got sold, and I know that all the theories, the fact that apparently it's been sold and it'll be turned into the Baxter Building now.
I've heard a lot of theories. I've even heard that Kingpin bought it. It's like there's a lot of stuff out there, so it's going to be interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah. If it was Kingpin, yeah, that would more make sense too. Ant-Man 3, they just dropped, well, they released the same trailer from Comic-Con, didn't get dripped in before we went to see. I have seen clips of it on the shaky phone. Don't know why no one can take a video with a straight hand. Why is it always the guy that's got the shakes? Look, that's coming out in Feb next year. I think the reason why they did the trailer is because they don't want to obviously overshare the hype for Wakanda Forever, which apparently a new clip for that got dropped as well, but not released. And Loki season 2, apparently there was multiple clips of that. Again, not dropped for real. That will pick up straight after season 1, and right underneath the final for Loki season 2. So, and that's still him going through the multiverse, and obviously we're going to see Kang more. Are you excited for Loki season 2?
Yes. I feel like
That
it's
was a
an open
pause.
book.
That was a pause.
I feel like it's an open book. I feel like it could go a lot of different places, which is exciting. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I'm curious how much Kang will really be a factor in all of it. For me, yeah, if we're talking Loki season 2, more Kang the better. I feel like we really need to build up that character. So, um, yeah, we'll we'll see. I guess that's where I.
Yeah.
And here's my complaint about. We talked about how the Mandalorian trailer was leaked. We're talking about Ant-Man trailer was leaked. For me, don't show it at the convention if you don't plan to post it online, because or at
Yes.
least wait till the next day, because at least maybe I'm the anomaly of all the Marvel fans in the universe, but I'm going to look up the leaked thing and I'm going to watch it on the shaky phone. It's like, if you're going to do that, just either don't show it, which I'm fine with, or show it and post it online within 24 hours.
I fully agree. And to add to that comment, I think the best exception for that was James Gunn for the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer at Comic-Con, where he actually tweeted saying the reason we're not releasing the trailer right now is because the special effects hasn't been finished yet. The trailer was just very rough, like a rough cut, and we don't want to release it to the public. All right, that makes sense. But I think if Ant-Man has shown the trailer twice, then it must be in some good condition to be shown to the world. Obviously, the fact that it's coming out in Feb, so it's got to have, it's got to be almost done. And I just wish they would, because then I find it annoying, because I understand you won't be able to Wakanda forever, but Marvel knows now that we're going to go see any movie, any property, nothing will overshadow anything else, especially if they're going to be pumping out this much content so quickly between Doctor Strange and Thor. That seemed quick. And another thing we did get was we got the lineup for Thunderbolts.
Yes, that is a big one.
Yeah.
I think there were a lot of correct rumors out there that kind of gave us this similar lineup, but it's nice to see it in stone. And what's really interesting to me is Thunderbolt is going to be the end of Phase 5, correct? So I'll be interested to see how many of these characters actually show up, because we know all the characters that are showing up in the Thunderbolts, right? They've all been set up in Phase 3 and 5, so it's going to be interesting to see, is there anything more with these characters that we see until then? Because there's people like Taskmaster and Ghost that I would like to see more of. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see.
I have no doubt that they're going to appear more. I think the most one I was surprised about, I was like, oh, okay, was Red Guardian. I was kind of surprised Red Guardian was in the lineup, because for me, both Ghost and Taskmaster, that made sense, but Red Guardian, I could almost been like he was just a one-off, one-and-done character. But we've got Bucky, we've got Elena, and Elena is going to pop up more, because she is going to be poised to be a pillar of the MCU moving forward. I have no doubt she will be the leader. Interesting, Bucky's there.
It is. You know what's even more interesting to me, which is kind of weird, because obviously Valentina De Fontaine, she has been building this team, right? But she's also revealed as if she's part of the team, right? She's not necessarily the leader of the team. So let me throw this theory at you, because I think everybody with She-Hulk and everything, and a lot of the rumors going on, I feel like a lot of people expected a Red Hulk. What if, we talked about this a little bit, we didn't touch on it fully, what if Valentina De Fontaine is the Red She-Hulk?
Yes.
Yes, we'll take it.
Done. Print that. I could see that. Not Thunderbolt Ross, but Valentine. She's trying to get it. She wants to be, so she goes head to head with She-Hulk. Yes.
I think that would be so cool. I think that would, because again, like I said, she has no powers, right? She has, other than kind of her smart wit and like building the team, I feel like she needs something more to be a part of the team. And I think that could be it.
Yeah, I'll print that. So right now, you heard that on Lights Camera Rant. Hold on to that until when it finally comes out. My thing is, who are they going to come up against? Like what? Like I don't want it to be like what they did with Suicide Squad, when you have a team of a whole bunch of normies going up against supernatural being that can wipe them all out. But like, who are they going to go up against? Because Thunderbolts was meant to be like the Suicide Squad team. However, who's in this lineup aren't technically all bad guys.
For me, it's kind of I kind of imagine. I can't remember the guy's name, but there's a dude. He had kind of a hood. He was blue. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy, but he kind of worked under Thanos, right? I can imagine there being a character that works under Kang that is kind of set up, Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty.
Silver Surfer.
So, ooh. Oh, whoa. I don't know that this team can take on Silver Surfer, but no. I'd be down for it.
No, I don't think they could take it on, but I watch it cold-heartedly. But yeah, I'm glad we got the team up. I'm glad they got the listing who it's going to be. Big thing is, and the fact that this is going to be ending a phase. So it's going to be a solid, Avengers level flick that they're going to have to go up against. So who the villain is, now you said She-Hulk, Red She-Hulk, it just makes more sense now. Like, you've just sold me on that. But yeah, how it's all going to come against, and because it's still, again, so far away. We've got Thunderbolts. Now, another interesting thing that we did get was Captain America. So both Captain America and Daredevil got new logos. So Cap 4, the villain, has been announced as the leader from the Incredible Hulk movie. So that's apparently the old guy from Winter Soldier and Captain Falcon, the original, the Black Captain America, African American, whatever. He will be appearing in the movie as well, and so will Sam Wilson's the guy as well, who's his sidekick. He'll be appearing as the new Falcon in the movie. So it's interesting seeing the drawback coming back to the Incredible Hulk right now with both the She-Hulk and Cap 4, a new world order. So I'm very excited to see this, seeing Sam become full Captain America, because it's going to be with its struggles. He's really going to be put through the paces. Are you happy they're making Cap 4, or you'd be happy if they just left it as just the 3?
I'm fine with it, as in the fact that we have a new Captain America, which I'm really excited for. I guess the big question is, what does it mean for the larger MCU? I think that's the question whenever we get these types of projects. So what does that really mean? Like you said, I feel like we're building out some of the more side characters from the Captain America universe, who's going to be the next Falcon and so on and so forth. So, again, I think the question is, it's kind of to be determined where they're going with all this, and I guess we'll see.
Yeah, that's how it's going to play out is the most important thing. And I'm just glad the fact that, again, it's not a fresh villain. We're still getting a drawback showing, which Marvel does very well, showing you the fact that, any character that can appear in the MCU can reappear anytime, anywhere. And probably the biggest thing, we also got the Daredevil panel. Really nothing we already didn't know got announced. The fact that we do know that Kingpin will be in Echo. We don't think nothing about Charlie Cox's Daredevil being in Echo either. But we know it's going to be 18 episodes. They start filming next year. They've got the new logo. But probably the biggest thing and the new trailer that dropped was Secret Invasion.
Yes, this is wild to me. When I kind of set up at the beginning of the D23 talk, there was a big Marvel project for me, and there's a big Star Wars. This was the big Marvel property for me. It looks so good. This looks like I tweeted out I retweeted the trailer and I was like, this is where the prime Disney Plus series starts. It's right here. I'm super excited for it. What I'm interested in, because I don't know a lot about the comics, but what from my understanding is it's kind of like, oh, you don't know which characters are a Skrull and which not. It seems to be led by Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury, which love that. But there doesn't seem to be any other like superheroes in it, which I would like to. I think that would be cool. Let's say we bring in, let's say we bring in She-Hulk. Say She-Hulk's a part of it, and then you find out like halfway through She-Hulk is actually a Skrull. Something like that. I feel like I'll be willing to see what kind of surprises they have in store for us, and I feel like as far as that goes, those options are unlimited, and I think that's a really cool prospect for the show.
Yeah, 100%. That's the thing. You don't know who's going to be a Skrull, and so in the comics, someone probably will correct me. So so there's the normal Skrulls that go to invade Earth by taking over world leaders, taking on over. But then I think there are super Skrulls that can take on characters like Captain America, She-Hulk, that can actually obtain their powers when they shapeshift. So, we get Samuel L. Jackson in the trailer, we get Maria Hill, we do get the agent from Black Panther. He makes his return as well. And interesting enough, at the very start of the trailer, I would say you see Samuel Jackson looking very, very rugged and a bit rough. But at the end of the trailer, he looks like his normal Nick Fury, back with the black suit, no beard. He's back into it. And as well as Talos, the Skrull that we did see in Captain Marvel and Spider-Man Far From Home. He does make his appearance as well. It's definitely set up to be a big spy thriller TV show. And didn't they announce that this was meant to be a major crossover event?
And that's kind of what I was getting at. I felt like there should be more characters in this. And I will say, if that's the case, I'm glad that they're kind of saving that stuff. Make it a surprise. Make it a real cameo that we don't expect coming. So, they kind of, like you said, Maria Hill. Wong's going to show up. Another one, I don't know who she's playing, but Emilia Clarke.
Yes.
Love her. She's in here. So whenever she's in something, I'm sold. So, I feel like they probably are hiding a lot of stuff, which, again, I would rather be surprised with. So.
Yeah, actually feel the surprise. Like, I did not see that coming. I got spoiled in a promo. I got spoiled in a trailer or behind the scenes. Watching this trailer, I don't know if you concur if you got the vibe from me, but it didn't feel like a normal Marvel product. Like this felt like something you could say was a spin-off from the Bourne Ultimatum, or it felt very gritty. Like nothing didn't feel like it had the shine of a Marvel. Nothing was very light. Everything was very dark. There was no quips. There was nothing funny. It was very serious all the way through. What do you
all the
think?
things you just described are exactly why I'm excited
okay.
for this. Again, like She-Hulk, I feel like we need a break from the typical run of how things typically go, and this is going to be. It's something new. It's something exciting. It's something we haven't had before, and I feel like as much as the MCU can reinvent themselves, the more successful they're going to be. And like you said, make it a more dark, serious, down to earth, street level type thing. And I think people are going to love it. I know I will. I think it's different, and I think that's a good thing. Keep it different.
Yeah, keep it different. Keep it separate from everything else. So it should be every Disney Plus show that Marvel makes. It should be we're going to completely not do anything similar to the last show, And the interesting thing with this show is who's going to appear. It's going to be a major crossover event, because I could be wrong. I think Black Panther is the last movie for Phase 4, but I think they said the Secret Invasion is the last TV show for Phase 4.
I might have missed that. I'll take your word on it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
So if that's the case, who's going to appear in it? How dark is this going to go? And not to mention, right now we're in the multiverse saga. What is this going to happen on a street level with everything going on? Because you saw that scene where someone, I can't remember if it's Talos grabs someone and everybody else looks like the same dude and they're all staring at them. Because you remember Samuel L. Jackson, well, Nick Fury has been off Earth ever since Far From Home. And the thing is that he's been away because he can't trust anybody on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
I'm very...
I feel like this is going to be the perfect proving ground for something like Daredevil. Can you make something more self-serious, something darker? And even if it's not as dark as Daredevil could be, it's a way to prove to the audience that they can do something a little more gritty.
Yeah, we can go that far without being fantastic. Like even like Moon Knight had towards halfway had horror elements, real horror elements with the mummy killing that guy and taking everything out. I was like, holy shit. This TV show, the trailer fully sold me. I'm glad we got this trailer because I thought it was going to just be like Ant-Man and they're going to show it again. Yep. We're not going to drop it to the public. Right now, it's destined for 2023. It has no release date, but I'm very glad that we're still getting Maria Hill. Nick Fury is still in the MCU. We're still getting these mainstay characters. It will come to a point where Samuel L. Jackson will properly die. I just hope the fact that some of the Avengers will be around when that does happen. He doesn't just die and no one's around.
Right, yes.
But I think that was all the biggest... probably the last little tidbit is Marvel did confirm that both Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel's powers are connected, is why they did the switcheroo.
Yeah, and I that's what I read, and it's going to be interesting to see how that movie takes advantage of that concept, right? I feel like the big thing was the fact that all of these three characters are going to be together, working together. But it almost seems like most of the movie, they might be separated. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they tackle that.
Yeah, like how they're going to come all together. I saw another post that apparently Nick Fury has been training Monica Rambeau to get in the train with her powers. So how that's all going to fit into it. But did you like Captain Marvel? That's a long pause.
I might have liked it slightly more than most people did, but it was fine to me. I didn't hate it. How about that?
Yeah, I didn't hate it either. I can honestly say when I finished the movie, I was like I enjoyed it, but at the point I thought to myself, this is not an MCU movie I'm going to come back to watch willingly. You really only watch to credit to Brie Larson, she did a good job. The only reason people watched that movie was to understand why she appears in Avengers Endgame and why she hasn't appeared.
So maybe some of the other parents in the audience might judge me a little bit, but I have no problem with my kids who are 5 and 3 if they watch Marvel movies, right? Because I feel like typically, the lessons of the movie are pretty good. They're not typically scary. So, for me, my kids can watch any Marvel movie they want. With that being said, if there's like a go-to Marvel movie, I've got 2 daughters. I feel like Captain Marvel is a good one to put on. They like it. They like Captain Marvel. My daughter, she's got a Captain Marvel cosplay. It's not my favorite, but I feel like it's a good one to have in circulation of some of the other movies we show to them. And I think that same goes with some of the other characters we're getting in here with Monica Rambeau and Miss Marvel. So in that respect, I'm happy for it. So
Yeah. Well, in the right demographic, it does very well. For us, at this age, for us, it doesn't hit us very hard. But for as like your daughters, it would be so inspirational seeing a female lead movie, and being how strong she is, and it took a power stone to get her knocked out, so Thanos could actually keep going. Um, so it's good the fact that Miss Marvel 2 is going to be all three female led. I don't think they've actually said who the villain is. So
I think that's the big question. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Who that is? Yeah.
Yeah, like who are you going to go up against, or is it just their powers in flux? But yeah, that also I think got a new logo as well, and I think that was probably all the top news you'd say from D23.
I think you covered it. We even talked about Willow, so I think we hit everything.
Yeah, I know. And look, I want to say, man, most of all, I appreciate you taking 2 hours and 5 minutes of your time to chat with me. I feel like we've gone so many different tangents, which I've really enjoyed. It's especially picking your brain and getting a different view on things, and just getting just chatting with you. It's been fantastic.
I haven't guessed on a lot of podcasts, but I've never said this to anybody. I'll say it to you only. I would come back next week to talk to you with you again. This was so much fun. I like your takes as well. I feel like you have a really good thing going on here. So thank you so much for having me. And I'll treasure it. It was fun.
Appreciate it, man. And you're always most welcome anytime. I do hope I can get you on again. I know we were playing this for about 3 weeks now.
Something like that.
Yeah. And look, guys, please go follow their podcast. Go follow them. Buy their merch. They do a fantastic job, especially their inside takes. So props to you guys. And yeah, guys, that was D23. That was She-Hulk. Any last words, Michael?
No, I think that's it. Yeah. If I don't come back, I would love to have you on my podcast. So we'll figure something out. This will not be the last crossover event between us two. That much I'm sure of. So again, thank you so much for having me, and we'll figure out something soon.
Sounds good. I'll hold you to that too. So guys, thank you very much. Until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.